Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Jordan Schnitzer Museum of Art here at WSU. I'm Kristen Becker, the Curator of Education and Programs here at the museum. We're super pleased to be hosting Writers Give Voice as part of the National Day of Racial Healing for a third year in a row in collaboration with the WSU Department of English and, of course, the National Day of Racial Healing Planning Committee. We have a super full house, which is really exciting. If anybody is kind of standing at the back and they do want to kind of filter over, there is space over here. We're out of chairs pretty much, but you are welcome to sit on the floor. So, we're not overly formal. You can sit on the floor. Just please don't lean on the walls if you're going to do that. So after the reading today, the museum is open. We have 2 exhibitions on view. And one of the things that's most exciting to me about these opportunities to collaborate with poets and writers is the words that we hear read in this space often kind of help us re-envision the works of art that we're seeing. And oftentimes the artists and the writers have similar concerns or concerns that inform one another. So if you're able to stick around for a little bit after the program, our galleries are open till 4. So please do that or come back and see us on a different day. A few other announcements too before we get started. Karen Weatherman is here from the Common Reading Program. She's waving her hand over by the window. And if you need Common Reading credit for being here today, please just check in with Karen before you leave. We also have a number of the Common Reading book, How the Other Half Eats, available for free for WSU students. So if you haven't picked up a copy of that yet and you would like one, please see Karen, or we also have some at the kind of the back of the room. And then also at the close of the program, we have a special guest, Linnea Rash, who's visiting us from Manuscripts, Archives, and Special Collections, which is part of the WSU Libraries. And one of the poems that's being read today, Winter Poem by Nikki Giovanni. This poem is set on a historic plate and letterpress right here in the back corner. And you can pull your own impression of this poem and feel what that is like before you leave. You're also welcome to just pick up a pre-printed version of that poem right in the corner in that direction. So now I'd like to welcome Cameron McGill from the Department of English to kick off our Writers Give Voice program.
Thanks, Kristen. Hi, everybody. How are you? I'm glad to see you here. Support your fellow peers in their reading of poems, some of which will be their own poems, and some will be the poems of some poets you may know by name. We'll see. Does this go up? Now I see it. Now I see what's happening. Well, good afternoon. As Kristen said, welcome to the Writers Give Voice, 3rd annual. This is a reading and open mic. And we want to thank the Jordan Schnitzer Museum of Art for hosting this event over the last few years, as well as many of the Visiting Writers Series events. If you haven't spent any time here in the museum, please make sure you do. Thanks to the museum staff as well, and gratitude to Trymaine Gaither and the entire National Day of Racial Healing Committee for their guidance and vision in making this day happen, which is not just at WSU Pullman, which is across the system. So all the different campuses are doing different events today. This event is also being live streamed, and so folks all across the system can watch it or tune into it after the fact. Let's see, my name. Oh yeah, my name's Cameron, and I'm a member of the English department and the co-director of the Visiting Writers Series. I want to start with a brief land acknowledgement, which we consider an important, albeit first step in addressing a longer commitment to and process of racial healing. Washington State University Pullman is located on the homelands of the Nimiipuu and the traditional homeland of the Palouse Band of indigenous people. We acknowledge their presence here since time immemorial and recognize their continuing connection to the land, to the water, and to their ancestors. We express our deepest respect for and gratitude towards these original and current caretakers of the region. We pledge that these relationships will consist of mutual trust, respect, and reciprocity. This 3rd annual National Day of Racial Healing has a different theme every year. This year's theme is Keep on Pushing, building bridges to sustainability. That theme is taken from a song that was put out in 1964 by Curtis Mayfield's first band, The Impressions. Have you heard The Impressions? I'm 1,000 years old. How old are you? Have you heard The Impressions? You should check out that song. It's a beautiful song. And so the Keep On Pushing is the name of the song that was a hit of theirs in 1964, and was a major part of the civil rights movement. So check that song out. It's on Apple, iTunes, and Spotify, things like that. But it's a wonderful song. So our intention for this event is that it creates space for healing dialogues through the sharing of poetry, just through the written word in general, and that it supports and promotes empathetic practices and compassion in and outside the classroom, and of course beyond today's event. So joining us today are Campus Civic poets, past and present, creative writing students, faculty advisors, student editors from several WSU's esteemed creative writing publications, and RSOs, including Landscapes, Blood Orange Review, The Open Mic, Palouse Review. But prior to starting our in-person readings, I'd like to share two pre-recorded video submissions from WSU poets and former Campus Civic poets who could not join us today in person but wanted to be a part of this event. And we're really grateful to Ali Pang and Joelle Kemigu for their wonderful contributions. So we're going to watch and listen to their two poems. Yeah. Play it again, Sam.
Hi, my name is Ali Pang. I am a former Campus Civic poet, and today I will be reading my poem, Ula. Hi, my name is Ali Pang. I am a former Campus Civic poet, and today I will be reading my poem, Ula Noveo, which means glowing red at the rising or setting of the sun in Native Hawaiian. It's also the best time for reflection. I did not know this word until I went to a museum event and I learned about it, and it was the perfect title for this poem. I'm really hoping that for me, my racial healing will be kind of reflecting on my ethnicities, and I don't really use Native Hawaiian language as much as I would really like to. So this is actually the first poem that I ever included like Native Hawaiian words. It's not like a ton, but it is me trying to hopefully tap into that and be able to connect better with my culture. And I am mixed race, so I'm 4 different things. To include all 4 is my goal eventually for this poem, but for now you will see hopefully sprinkles of little parts of my culture and also just who I am as a person. Thank you to Cameron, Linda, all the people in the English department for inviting me back to be able to participate, even if I am a ocean away. Thank you so much. So it's great to be a part of this event again. Red. I read the plaques on the glass, held my ancestors, my Pacific brothers and sisters' stories in my hands. In this black abyss, a place that they are given to exist. Where Ahu'ula, a feathered cloak of a long-lost Ali'i, clutches what remains of its endangered I'iwi. Red. I read another plaque on the glass, tiny native kahuli that visitors walk right past, whose hidden red only lasts in life, and that these empty shells are the reminder that if they reach extinction, their scarlet distinction disappears forever. If I stare long enough, will I see my shell on display? Red spends its time in my chest, a ribcage wild in ohia blossoms, pounding to free every culture seized by invasive weeds. I see red, seething from my tiny cone, a pinprick on a leaf hiding in my own backyard, from the predators keeping refuge on our lanais. Red doesn't end there. I bind it to my favorite tote bag in a strawberry keychain. It's in the dusted cherry dye of my hair, settled into my style of crimson sneakers, smudged by the earth's rust on my heels. Red dots the Chinatown almond cookies centers. I'm fed red char siu manapua from plastic wrappers. Firecrackers snap away evil as I accept Li Si with both hands outward. Color is power. There is power in color. Do not look for us in the waves framing Waikiki's crowded sands. Do not sift through plastic lei to locate us like lost treasure. Even collected in exhibits, cultures sit, preserved, to be learned and passed on to the next, and to the next, and to the next. Red is the pattern. We are the oceanic red threading through our veins, woven by hands and tides, tied through time. We will remain red.
Hi, my name is Joel. Short poems today. Both of these I started in 2019, and I think what spurred the feelings that made me start these poems, I've always had to come back to because something will happen to this country that will bring those back up again, and it'll make me want to go back to these, like revisit them, just think about what I can do differently, how I can express myself more in them. I think it's going to be an endless project, so they will probably look different next year, 10 years after that, forever. But yeah, they both also take inspiration from two black artists who I greatly respect and whose work I think is always pertinent, especially in these times today. So the first poem takes inspiration from Fela Kuti and his Calcutta Republic, and the second poem takes inspiration from Langston Hughes and his essay The Negro Artist and the Racial Mountain. If you don't know who either of those are or what those are, don't worry about it. I'd recommend checking them out, giving them a read, but yeah, just enjoy the poems. Don't tell me if you don't enjoy them. Don't share that with anybody. Just snap, say it's deep. Yeah. First poem is Calcutta Republic Duplex. My body is a country. A country needs leaders. My country hates leaders because here dictators grow like blackberry. And here, dictators, sweet as blackberries, smile with you, then break the streets. Smile with us or break the streets, and prove your anger is right. We prove anger is right because apathy has left us nothing. Then apathy is left. There's nothing else to give my body or country. And here's the second poem, American Sonnet for the Mountain. Art is the unpaved road to understanding. You walk it to calm yourself down. That never works, so you threaten to cut your feet off. Threaten anyone who'll listen. There was a year that the Negro poet should have sold out, but at the time he couldn't write. Our Negro poet was busy selfishly choking on Black Death after Black Death after Black Death, though we all said we wanted, needed his voice. And when the country finally closed its jaws, full for the moment, ready to be remorseful again, our Negro, our poet, still could not think of a metaphor for America. This country is a moon? The country is a gun in eager hands. The country is a gun and eager hands. It's still the cowboy charting the West ruin, another trail of chopped trees and buffalo skulls. The country is a flooding fountain of poetic inspiration, always the worst kind of inspiration. Appreciate its generosity. Yeah, those are my poems. Thank you.
Thank Thank you, Allie and Joelle. Wonderful, two wonderful poets. We're going to keep it going here. So I'd like to begin the live reading by welcoming our first reader and WSU Pullman campus's Campus Civic poet, Jada Rome. You want to get us started? Okay, all right.
Okay, so I'm going to move with this microphone, so I'm definitely not going to hold it there. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to be here and to see the past Campus Civic poets. Hello to my family back in Oregon. Hope they see me right now. And hello to everyone here. This year's theme. So when I heard about Keep on Pushing and sustainability and building bridges, I was like, how am I going to do that? There's so much going on right now around the world, around the globe, and just here in the United States. And it's disheartening when you look like me to keep on going, right? When I feel like we're going back and we're going back and we're going back and we're going back. So I was wondering what am I going to write about? And I was consulting all these people and all of my professors, and I was thinking, what am I supposed to write about? You know, because I want the words to speak to me and I want the words to speak to you. But my professor just said, you have to write the truth. You have to write what you feel. And I'm going to say what I feel. Okay. Sorry, it's on my phone. I didn't write it out. Also, I just wrote the last one right before this. The words were speaking to me. They were going. Okay. The first one is called Earth. Orange, fiery nights. Ebony souls ignite. Vibrant colors share the world. Laughters that echoes. Smiles that never fade. Burn, 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 but don't get too close to the sun now. You don't want to become ash now. Don't look up, they say. Burn, burn, burn. When those lies fill your soul, return home to earth. The brown comfort will soothe your mind. And you can find those who will never let your fire go out. Those who will never let your soul fill with water. When you're lost, return home. Return back to earth. Burn, burn, burn. Thank you. And I also have another one. I was going to read a short poem from my book, Chasing Utopia by Nikki Giovanni, because I love Nikki Giovanni, but I want to get everyone a chance to go, and I can tend to talk and go on for a while, so I'm just going to go so everyone can get a chance to shine. All right, the second one's called Roar. When you're a lion, you're expected to be loud. You roam the land with your voice. You roam with confidence. But there are instances where our roar is stolen. Ooh. Our roar is dismissed. Our roar is gone. But we can't give our voices away to forces that only want to deprive us of hope. Let your roar be loud and radiate to the deepest depths of the ocean. Let your roar be heard from galaxy eons away. Let your roar move the mountains, rearrange the clouds, and push the stars. Let your ancestors roar through you. If your roar is quiet, roar quiet. If your roar is gentle, let it be gentle. If it's spontaneous, let it be spontaneous. If your roar has disappeared and you can't find it and it's gone, let others roar for you. But by all means, never stop roaring. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Cameron. Let me shake your hand real quick. Okay, it's on video.
Do we need that on video? Okay, so we're going to bring up several other poets here to read a poem, and I'd like to first introduce Sienna Guadagnoli, who's going to come up and read, I believe, a Maya Angelou poem. Is that right?
I'm a little too short for this. Thank you. That's a little better. Okay. Hi, I'm Sienna, creative writing student here. I decided to read Still I Rise by Maya Angelou. It's one of my favorite poems. Let's just get it started. Still I rise. You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still, like dust, I'll rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? 'Cause I walk like I've got oil wells pumping in my living room. Just like moons and like suns, with a certainty of tides, just like hopes springing high, still I'll rise. Did you want to see me broken? Bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries. Does my haughtiness offend you? Don't you take it awful hard, 'cause I laugh like I've got gold mines, digging in my own backyard. You may shoot me with your words, you may cut me with your eyes, you may kill me with your hatefulness, but still, like air, I'll rise. Does my sexiness upset you? Does it come as a surprise that I dance like I've got diamonds at the meeting of my thighs? Out of the huts of history's shame, I rise. Up from a past that's rooted in pain, I rise. I'm a black ocean leaping and wide, welling and swelling, I bear in the tide. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise. Into a daybreak that's wondrously clear, I rise. Bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave, I am the dream and the hope of the slave. I rise, I rise, I rise. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thanks, Sienna. I'd like to bring up another former student of mine, and I think Collins as well, and a wonderful writer as well, Janai Johnson.
Hi guys, my name is Janai. I'm a student here at WSU, and I would consider myself an aspiring poet, y'all, so please go easy on me. I'm an animal science major, so this is a little bit new for me. But when Cameron reached out, I was so excited, and I wanted to share, but I didn't know what to do. But Colin suggested that I read one of my poems that I wrote for my thesis project, so I won't say much else about it other than no matter who you are, I hope that you find some level of healing in it. To whom this may concern. Black girl, your skin is not too dark, nor your hair too nappy. Your melanin is heaven sent, and your coiled crown is priced high above rubies, as you are. Do not conform to the patterns or fashions or standards of this world. Instead, be transformed by them as your mind is renewed. Black boy, revealing emotion is not weakness. It is okay to cry. You can be strong and emotionally intelligent, but no, you do not always have to be strong. No, you do not always have to rely on your own strength. After all, His strength is made perfect in our weakness. Black woman, in spite of what that stereotype says, know that it is okay to be angry. It is okay to be angry about that which requires our anger. However, we must not allow the sun to set upon our anger. Let us be so quick to forgive that night's darkness has no opportunity and no place to steal, kill, and destroy. Black man, you are not a menace to society, though the system seems to seam together a different story. Black man, you are fearfully and wonderfully made, sculpted in God's image, crafted with intentionality. You must carry yourself as such. To my kin, I love us. Remember to love and live out an agape love for your neighbor and for yourself in your skin. Embrace your melanin. Concern yourself with embrace.
Thank you, Janai. I'd like to bring up Allison Hilliker. She's going to read I think, a Joy Harjo poem. Yeah? All right.
Too short, not going to even attempt that. I was really excited when Cameron asked me to be here. I have a very interesting family background. My mom has 10 adopted siblings, so my grandparents are very generous people, but it's really cool to have so many colors in my family. I'm very proud of that. So racial healing is very special to me because it's something that hasn't happened in my small community yet. I wanted to write something, but I can only ever write about my own experience, and I didn't feel like that was quite right for this event. So instead, I'll be reading a poem by Joy Harjo called Perhaps the World Ends Here. The world begins at a kitchen table. No matter what, we must eat to live. The gifts of earth are brought and prepared, set on the table. So it has been since creation, and it will go on. We chase chickens or dogs away from it. Babies teethe at the corners. They scrape their knees under it. It is here that children are given instructions on what it means to be human. We make men at it. We make women. At this table we gossip, recall enemies, and the ghosts of lovers. Our dreams drink coffee with us as they put their arms around our children. They laugh with us at our poor falling down sleeves, and as we put ourselves back together once again at the table. This table has been a house in the rain, an umbrella in the sun. Wars have begun and ended at this table. It is a place to hide in the shadow of terror, a place to celebrate the terrible victory. We have given birth on this table and have prepared our parents for burial here. At this table we sing with joy, with sorrow. We pray of suffering and remorse. We give thanks. Perhaps the world will end at the kitchen table while we are laughing and crying, eating of the last sweet bite.
Thank you, Allison. It's a hot mic. Okay. All right. Let's see. I don't need to use. I need to use one of these actually. Okay. Is Maya McCabe here by any chance? Hi, Maya. You want to read a poem? Okay, great. Come on up, Maya, everybody.
Hi everyone, I'm Maya McCabe. I'm not a creative writing student, I'm in sport management of all things. But I came to this event last year and really appreciated, this was the first open mic I ever came to at WSU, and so I'm grateful for the chance to share something this year. This is a poem that I wrote in bits and pieces over the last couple weeks in my notes app, and so it's titled Notes App. I want to take things as they are, our yellow teeth and our rage and grief, but also it's dark and also it's cold, and I have no fucking clue what I'll do when I'm old. Try not to swerve, stay in my lane, follow the mold, go with the grain. But really that's not really it at all, for inside an acorn an oak tree stands tall. I scribble in the dark in hope that answers find me, but not dumb enough to think salvation's in the rhyming. 'Cause the planet is burning and no one is free, and ashes are all that's left of this city. I don't know where I'm from and I don't know who we are. I only feel this scar, signature of pain, marking my hand, marking the land. For it was we who sowed it, we who still mow it, some now who know it, that what we're doing is a killing, what we've done a scar so deep, unsuitable for filling. Collective eyes are forward. There's still no turning back. So why we continue to attack our home and each other, God only knows. Why we run to buy in droves what we're told we need, a greed so relentless, it consumes more than exists. We'll take and take and take, and never wonder what we missed. Never wonder from where else we could find meaning. While we buy, there's ancestors keening, and the world is anything but greening. And bombs go off. We watched like porn. As lives are torn from the living, devastation is a full sentence. Liberation is too. Restoration is promised, but when and by who? In the center of the storm, there is no peace. Only an unfaltered cry for it to finally cease. Permanently and completely, backwards and forwards, Land back, ledgers paid, troops withdrawn, foundation laid. For a different type of future, where our main concern is not who can compete and who is a girl. Are we sure, as lives are displaced and drowned, that's the best use of this logic we call sound? Best they can do, our legislation, and it feels like an entire generation is more mad about losing TikTok than their children's right to clean air and free play. What is it they always say? Live in the now. Well, we sure have done our damn best job, set to the task with a certain resolve. You can move mountains with your mind. We sure fucking have. With explosions, corrosions, corruptions, elections, evictions, damnations, we can move anything that's in our way. We are seeds, so even when spit and spat out, we still so stubbornly will sprout. It's banned, it's barred, it's rule, it's law. We cease, they fire, I see, you saw. We bend the rules, they're breaking backs. I'm we, you're us, so kiss my ass. I'm all I've got. Chants and songs. They feel so weak to right this wrong. But even if broken, even if bent, we march along, we pay our rent. Scumlords are we, slumlords are us. They fizzle, in review I see all the rules, they fizzle and fuzz like something that's dying or something that was being carved apart, sewn together anew. A Frankenstein world we look forward to. I don't mean to be bleak, I don't mean to be dark, it's only the words that flow from my heart, words of fear, some are of scorn. For I feel a future torn from my hands before I even birthed it. What is it to grieve a life that no longer lived? It's the work of fiction. My diction a prayer, my diction a promise. 5 generations ahead. Unborn souls call out, ask us, what is this all about? Why we came if not to heal, for it sure is real that this world will end and the children will come one after another, referring to you as their mother's mother's mother, and realize there is no other who could protect them. Protect them from the pain, protect them from the sorrow, protect them from the fighting, promise them tomorrow. What are we if not our legacy? No way to rate, evaluate a life except by what was left behind. We'll find that those who paid it forward are all we have for hope, that we can do the same, not be another name, who took and burned and bent, but try instead to be aligned as we are meant. Live in right relationship, heal and feel and fall in submission to the mystery. Let it to us reveal all. For it won't be what you held in your hand in the end, but on all that you did not will everything depend. Let go of the roughness, let go of the hate, let go of the greed, welcome your fate. Love and liberation, that is our prayer. Meditation, manifestation, as you prefer. I'll leave you 3 lines, then leave you be. They're words about you and about me. Wholeheartedly, I love. I am loved wholeheartedly. I am loved wholeheartedly. Thank you.
All right, wonderful, wonderful. So we're kind of at that halfway point. Just a round of applause for everyone who's read so far. And, cool. How many folks go to the open mic? That happens usually twice a month here at Bruised Books. Where are my open? Oh. Okay. I got one. Anyone else? Yes. Yes. Okay. Great. Yes. Great. So I want to bring up to start the open mic portion of today. Linda Russo is going to read a poem, and then we're going to got a few other folks that wanted to read as well, and then we're going to open it up, and then So thanks so much, Linda.
Speaking of open mics, let's have a round of applause to Cameron for organizing this, to Kristen Becker and the Museum of Art for sharing this space today. And it really is a service to community, something well worth serving at WSU and in Pullman. And so just a quick shout out to the open mic at Bruised Books is what Cameron was mentioning, and I help advise and facilitate this open mic that is with our fabulous MC, Jada Rome. So you can look for these yellow flyers and check out the dates. The next open mic is January 30th. It starts at 6 p.m. Okay, so I went to the opening event this morning on Zoom, sort of opening remarks, discussion, moderated by my colleague in English, Ashley Boyd. And man, that did it for me. After I went to that event, I knew what I was going to read today. And I really wanted to give a shout out to, I'd never met this person before, Dr. Cheryl Ellenwood, who gave the land acknowledgement. But it was more than a land acknowledgement. It was a necessary orientation to place. And it led me to believe that when we acknowledge the land, when we do our land acknowledgement, we're acknowledging connections to the land. We're acknowledging First Nations connections to the land, but we're also investigating our own connections to the land. And we're also thinking about the future of this land. And that's, for me, where the sustainability bit clicked into place, and I knew I wanted to read this poem. So back in 2023, I did basically a residence at one of the prairie remnants around here on the Palouse, and I've been interested in these prairie remnants since I moved here 15 years ago. But so I wrote this poem, and the poem is exploring, as I said, connections. First Peoples connections, the Nimipu, the Palouse Band of Indians who came up to the prairies in the summer, or in the spring rather, to harvest camas, and their enduring relationship to this place. That plant was kind of my key into understanding connection. And I always think of that beautiful sculpture up on the Colville Reservation where it's a silhouette of several women digging the camas roots in the land. And that was an important bridge for me. The other thing that Cheryl said was to, acknowledge bridges that, your bridge towards sustainability. That work of art was a bridge for me. It helped me think about this place. So with no further ado, the poem is called How to Be Native Palouse Prairie. I don't think I could even do that justice, but that's what I was feeling when I was up there on the prairie remnant, trying to understand that place, the history of the place, the future of that place. So here we go. Return yearly like the perennial you are. Allow each plant to move at her own pace into realization. Let some live their whole lives here. Let others pass through. Refuse instrumentalization. Resist industrial modernity's complete colonization. Let knowledge traditions find their right forms. Offer refuge to goddess, coyote, and catchfly. Offer stands of milkweed to monarch butterfly, whose larvae require a food only found in their limbs. Offer purple asters to late summer's hungry bees. Don't ever feel alone. Grant the fair and equitable treatment of all plant, animal, and human persons. Allow their memories and their kin memories to come. Host innumerable flowering species and their 16 bee kin. Allow the netter of flies and the counter of bees their hours in their fields. Make sensible the value of 16 species of bee kin and innumerable flowering plants besides. Allow the deepening scent of ponderosa pine bark to mean what's sweetest to those who breathe in. Be orbital, ephemeral, ancient, eternal. Make the sacred visible to the human eye. Admit the impermanence of all human endeavor. Say, it's not just that we were destroyed, it's that we survive. It's that our survivance brings forth critical knowledge. Generate sympathy through your fragile cryptogamic crust in all whose feet land with unavoidable crunching. Let all seekers form deep roots. Never let them take the same path twice. Help them prepare for what will come. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. Thank you. Bobby, would you like to read the poem that we're doing the letterpress for? Yeah? All right.
Hi everyone. My name's Bobby. I'm a nursing major here at Wazoo, and I'm reading the winter poem by Nikki Giovanni. Once a snowflake fell on my brow, and I loved it so much, and I kissed it, and it was happy and called its cousins and brothers, and a web of snow engulfed me. Then I reached to love them all, and I squeezed them, and they became a spring rain, and I stood perfectly still and was a flower. Winter poem by Nikki Giovanni.
Thank you, Bobby. Brian, I know you've got to go to teach class, so let's get you up here.
I'm short too. Thank you, poets and civic poets, both former and current and future civic poets who might be in this room. We have a deadline for this coming year's for submissions, March 1st. I have a couple flyers here. The Campus Civic Poet Award is a collaboration between the MLK program and the English department, and it recognizes a student's commitment to poetry and civic engagement. And anybody interested, I have some flyers right here. I was thinking about poets in a room, and my wife loves birds, and she talks to the birds. The birds talk back to her, and we live a little bit out in the country, and there's so many different varieties, and every bird makes a different sound. And every time I'm in a poetry reading, I think I'm in an aviary. You know, everyone's come to sing their song. But there's one bird early in the morning, the early in the morning bird, like before anything else is happening. And what I appreciate about my wife is this bird wakes me up, especially in the summer, 5:30, 5. And I'm woken up by this bird, third day in a row, and I'm starting to feel a little angry at it. And I hear this giggle, and I realize my wife's up. And the fact that she saw me, the fact that I didn't know she was up and that she has this whole different view of the bird, this poem spotlights that bird. It's by Kim Stafford. It's called For the Bird Singing Before Dawn. Some people presume to be hopeful when there's no evidence for hope, to be happy when there's no cause. Let me say now, I'm with them. In deep darkness, on a cold twig in a dangerous world, one first little fluff lets out a peep, a warble, a song. And in a little while, behold, the first glimmers come. Then the glow filters through the misty trees. Then the bold sun rises. Then everyone starts bustling about. And that first crazy optimist, can we forgive her for thinking dawn by dawn, hey, I made that happen. And oh, life is so fine. Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you, Brian. Okay, so open mic. We're gonna open the rest of the time for folks to read. Just want to see a show of hands. I don't know everyone by name, so who would like to start us off? Who would like to start us off? Colin, I know you by name. You're the only one that raised their hand. Okay. You want to go first? You want to go first? Yeah, this gentleman's going to go first. Can you give me your name again? Brian? All right, Brian.
Okay, we're gonna do this. I got a little nervous now, not throwing the spot, but here we go. Okay, this piece is titled Lines Unbroken. I'm starting. By Ta-Ah-Ah-Sha. Ta-Ah-Ah-Ah-Sha. Miss Jones, let's talk about the National Day of Racial Healing. We went from pyramids to plantations to projects to penitentiaries. Do you think America wants to see me? Pyramids. We rose as whispers shaped in stone, through every grain our spirit shone. Etched by the now, kissed by the flame, eternity crowned us by our name. The sun draped us in golden threads from deserts vast where kings have led. Our shadows stretched, greet the stars. We built the heavens through bounds by scars. The obelisk stood tall, unbowed. The storms of time have tried to shroud. Our tips ignite the endless skies. Our light still burns, it never dies. Plantations. The earth drank tears from stolen dreams. Our cries began morning streams. A crimson tide beneath the plow, yet hope still blossomed each bough. They cast our bodies into change through hymns of sorrow born of pain. Our roots ran deep beneath their feet. We turned despair to fields of wheat. Their gold was stained with sweat and sin. Each note defied the lash's grin. Still we sang beneath the moon. Our hearts beat loud a sacred tune. We went from pyramids to plantations to projects to penitentiaries. Do you think America wants to see me free? Projects. The white coats came, needles sharp, and played their scalpel like a harp. Their lies wrapped tight in threads of care, but truth unmasked their false affair. They called us vessels, mere machines, yet royal blood run through our veins, dissected dreams for power's thrill, a force no scalpel edge could steal. Our scars became the sacred scrolls. Through cage we sang, though cage we sang as boundless souls. A warning etched for future lies. Penitentiaries. The fields of green became gray walls, and freedom danced through prison halls. Where the shadows whispered a despair, a voice alight in the morning air. The bars they forged could not confine, though the cracks in stone are dreams, all aligned. The spirit born of royal fire, ascending high, a boundless choir. Though numbered suits adorned our frame, 6, 7, 4, 3, 2, 1. From every cell we stroked the flame. Resistance burned with endless light, our names carved stars across the night. Listen here very closely. From stone to chains, from steel to song, we've borne the weight, yet we belong. Its heart, its rhythm, its endless ties, the spiral turns, but we always rise. Our scars are crowns, our pain is gold, through every era, strong and bold. We've claimed the future, spanned the years, with fabric stitched from toil and tears, sacred the eternal flame that never dies. We are pyramids communing beyond the skies. We are the pulse of the nation, the earth's refrain. Unbroken, unbowed, royal we will remain. We went from pyramids to plantations, to projects, to penitentiaries, covered by God's panoply. Unbroken, unbowed, favorite for all to see. This work is copyrighted and cannot be used without written consent. My name is Brian Green, AKA Weirdo. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thanks. Thank you, Brian. Who would like to read next? Colin, you want to? You gonna do this? Okay. You have to figure out who's going to go next. Like, get your. I mean, you don't have to, but
Okay.
you do as a group. Who's going to go next?
Thanks, Jada. Thanks, everybody. Brian, thank you. I have a poem by Nikki Giovanni, same poet who wrote the poem on the letterpress, same poet alluded to by Jada, alluded to by Janai. Nikki Giovanni was one of the greatest poets who's ever lived in this country. Right. Nikki Giovanni had a really long career as a poet. She passed away December 6th, very recently. And yeah, just a great poet. So this is a later poem that she wrote called Biography. Biography by Nikki Giovanni. There is a bat in Chile named Microniterus giovanniae. Dr. Robert Baker named it after me. He discovered it while studying bats and thought the big ears were just like me. Maybe if the bat wrote, she would be a poet. There's a plaque in Lincoln Heights where I went to school, and a plaque in Knoxville across the street where my grandparents lived. I'm also lucky to have awards and daydreams. Or is that daydreams and awards? And I'm lucky to be happy at what I do and how I do it. So that is this. Bio. I'm here. And if I missed on emotional soil, a weed will grow. Make me rain. Let me be a part of this needed change.
Thank you, Colin. Thank you. Who's going to go next? Just waiting for that hand to go up. I'm a teacher. I'm good at waiting. I can just stand here until someone has a comment in class. What do we want to do? Who's going to read? We have time for a couple more. Hey, what's the open mic crew? Hey, yeah. All right. Anybody? No? Okay. All right. You sure? Yeah, Josie, you'd like to read? Thank you so much. Wonderful. Thanks.
You know, I didn't even think this was an open mic. I just thought amazing people were going to be reading here, and here I am. But I'll read a poem that I wrote recently. It's called The Lives We Mend and Construct Together. My name's Josie. Deep in the Blue Mountains, riding dirt bikes before we were born. They're all barely running, but that doesn't stop us from having a good time. We joke that we're stationed at the lookout, climbing the tower at sunset to watch the moon rise, pass a cold snack between the four of us. This is family, this is love, this is care. Our pants are saturated in oil, gasoline and dirt. I read while you all went riding, falling asleep in the rocking chair. Quiet time, B said. I close my eyes. Jay finds a book of queer poetry in the bedside table, a collection of queer love. She reads aloud before bed. I dream of a yellow orb passing me on the trails, the whirl of a two-stroke being wound up. The dirt was red, the flowers in bloom. The wind carries echoes of the past, before logging in national forests, before federal displacements. Some blindly call this preservation. Our small bikes carry our small bodies, screaming through what Elle calls the Hobbit Hole Forest. We climb the ridges of fields of wildflowers. We all cook and share meals with each other. We mend. There's always a loose screw. We make our own annual traditions, something to make us feel secure. Love changes with each year. Like watching a flame move, never quite the same. I cried in the cabin after feeling a poem too hard. But I'm still letting go. But the Mexican in me can't forget. We love too hard and hold grudges too long. But we keep writing, lost in our own private Idaho. On our drive to the mountains, Elle and I talk about teaching, how he models gentle parenting to his kids, and the struggles and triumphs of his students. Strange men comment on our bikes as we drive to the mountains, tell us what our heaps are worth, said that we have as good money, but I intend to ride them into the ground, and we do. We joke about how we're all teachers, and so we must all be rich. I think that's what these men see. 4 bikes loaded on a truck and a trailer, 4 transsexuals moving through Idaho. I think of queer parenting, I think of queer family, outside frameworks of time imposed upon us. My dears show me about love and patience, tender care and strong beliefs, and difficult conversations and honesty. I think back to coming out and how tumultuous my relationships with family became, and how I found friends through acts of desperation, seeking connection. I see this in my students now. Sharing with them my strategies for survival, for building a new home with the bodies we've built. I feel too young to be parenting, but I know my parents tried their best regardless. The reality of teaching as you yourself learn, trying your best to pass on whatever is helpful or needed in our lives. Thank you.
I think we might be right at time. I'd love for this to keep going, and of course you can continue this, like going to the open mic by writing a poem on your own, bringing it to class, joining a poetry class, talking to any of these brilliant poets that read today about poetry, and I really thank you for sharing. I think yeah, it's a wonderful time to be able to be all together in one room and celebrate the things that people are reading. And yeah, I think we'll leave it at that. If you would like to make a poem, Linnea's over there with the letterpress. Pull the lever and then just imprint the poem in your brain's heart or your mind's eye or whatever you want to do. But take a poem. I think yeah, taking a Nikki Giovanni poem with you will be a good way to keep going with the day. Thank you all for being here. Krista in the museum, thanks so much for having us. Provost Media Group, AOI, whatever, we appreciate you. Thanks for making this possible. Cheers, thank you. Thanks for being here and thanks for watching online. Thank you, poets. Amen.